Introducing GForceTV. GForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GForceTV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washougal Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GForceTV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GForceTV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GForceTV racing leagues. GForceTV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GForceTV.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special Monday night presentation. And we are set to crown some champions tonight with the GeForce iRacing Leagues. Tonight, we'll start to the broadcast with the GeForce Racing League Raiders and their championship event here at the virtual Volusia Speedway. And stick around at the conclusion of this one. We will also bring you the championship event here from the virtual Volusia for the Rebels series as well. So good evening, welcome to Florida, or virtually Florida, where it's nice and warm. I'm Sean Neisted, and glad to be here with you on this special presentation. Great to get the GeForce Racing League Raiders and Rebels out to you here tonight, as they've got a big night of competition coming up. We'll talk more about that as we continue on through the final few minutes of practice, which are happening out there on the racetrack right now as you see the cars making their way around the speedway. Let's set things first by talking about this racetrack tonight that all of these drivers, 32, have taken a practice lap thus far. All of these drivers are going to be running around Volusia Speedway. If you're not familiar with this racetrack, this is a real speedway down there in Florida. Of course, it's home to Florida in February with the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint cars, the Morton Building late models, and of course the Super Dirt Car Series heads down there as well. See a lot of great action at this racetrack. It's a short half mile. It's a big D-shaped half mile, so you carry a lot of speed around this racetrack. It will produce multiple lines of racing, so if you're tuning in right now to watch some of your favorite drivers or just to check this league out, hold on, because you are going to see some fantastic racing on this racing surface. It happens almost every single time you see these cars out here. Enough banking that they can keep their speeds up. Some different angles with the corners. As we mentioned, a big D-shaped racetrack. So going into turn number one, you've got multiple different options. If you want to hug the wall getting in the corner and slide up, if you want to come in high, arc it down, there are several ways to keep your speed up and get a run on the competitors around you. That's a little bit of the breakdown of this racetrack. We also said it is championship night. And what is a championship night without looking at the point standings? We'll take a look at these and remind you where these drivers sit coming into tonight's feature event. Of course, the Strickland's GMC feature event to cap off the action tonight for the Raiders. But before we get that, we want to take a look at your division standings and looking at the top 10 here tonight, brought to us by Weatherby Photography. Of course, Weatherby Photography specializes in iRacing photography for people who want to promote sponsors or just have great quality photos. Contact Weatherby Photography for your next media package. And if you mention the GeForce Racing Leagues, you'll get 20% off your next purchase. Keep that in mind. Weatherby Photography. Coming into this event, 10th in the point standings, JP Jeremy Paulson. We'll see him competing tonight in his 000. 9th in the point standings, Chris Whipple. We'll see him in competition. Cody Shantz, who comes into tonight's event, got 2 feature wins this season, sits 8th in the points right now for the Raiders. Picked up wins at Lanier and Lernerville. Donald Dory sits number 7 in the points, just 5 points behind Steven Bixler, who is 6th in the points. Then just over 30 points up to Brad Wright, who sits in the 5th spot. Field Miller is 4th in the point standings coming into this event. He's just 9 points ahead of Wright. Also keep in mind, Miller picked up a win with the Raiders a few weeks back at the event at Eldora. And then into the top 3 in the point standings, you'll find Derek Falkenhagen sitting there in the 3rd spot. Again, he's 13 points ahead of Field Miller. Then just right shy of 40 points up to Vern Hawkins, the 3rd, who sits in the number 2 spot. And then it is a sizable gap out to Daniel Blau, who is your points leader in this one. He's got the feature event win at Charlotte. Been Mr. Consistent all through the series as well. So looking forward to seeing him and his skills here tonight at the virtual Volusia Speedway. More about this potential championship run for Daniel Blau. He's got 6 career wins with the GeForce iRacing Leagues, 29 times in the top 5s, and 62 of his 91 starts have been top 10 feature events. So a very, very good run for that driver who sits number 1 in the point standings. 5th place run last week at Wheat Sports, 7th at Eldora, 5th at Williams Grove, ran 2nd at Fairbury, 3rd at Lanier, Kokomo was 5, USA was 6th, 12th at Limeland, and 8th at Charlotte. And of course, that win at Lernerville that we mentioned. That's what we're talking about right there. When you talk about consistency and winning championships, that is exactly what Blau has done thus far this year with the Rebels or the Raiders series that we will see here tonight. Of course, the Rebels coming up later tonight. Consistency will take a whole different meaning when we get into that discussion and talking about the championship implications going into that one. So looking forward to seeing that when we talk about that coming up just a little bit later on in tonight's broadcast. Again, we welcome you tuning in wherever you may be tuned in from. Of course, this feed coming to you from the main YouTube page. So if you're there, give us a comment. We'd like to know exactly where you are watching from for GeForce Esports here tonight. So say hello. By the way, I'm coming to you from South Dakota. So yeah, a little bit west of probably where most of you all are watching from here tonight. So certainly do hope to see you guys leave us a comment on the YouTube page and let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're cheering on. And really looking forward to bringing you all of the action here tonight with the GeForce Racing League Raiders. And then, of course, the Rebels coming up just about 1 hour from now. They will start their program. So a doubleheader tonight right here on this feed. And then stick around. You'll also find on the GeForce eSports stream, it'll be a different stream, but right there on the same YouTube page, the Renegades coming up 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central with their Fall 2020 Championship event as well. So set your calendars for tonight. A lot of action coming your way. 3 different divisions, 3 full shows, and 3 championships all on the line to be decided here tonight for the GeForce iRacing Leagues. So that's a lot, right? 3 events just tonight. Well, keep in mind, they've got 15 different leagues, 15 different events coming out through all of the week. So they're so glad to have you here tonight. We're glad to have you here tonight, and make sure to tune in for as many of those 15 GeForce Racing League divisions that compete week in week out. All of tonight's broadcasting brought to you by Strickland's GMC. They bring you all three divisions of 360 sprint cars here tonight. Keep in mind, Strickland's GMC up there in Brantford, Ontario. Go where the winners go. Go see Rick Scott from Strickland's GMC. And of course, Strickland's will bring us the A-Main event here tonight as well. Things changing on the racetrack as you see that happening out there. We are moving into qualifications for all 30-some of these drivers who have checked in to battle it out here tonight. Each driver right now getting 2 runs on the clock, making the fastest lap around this fast half mile. That will set the starting grids for our heat races here tonight. So you'll see some of the cars making their way around the track. We'll take a look at some of the times as they begin to come in for you here for the quick time qualifications. All the drivers getting a chance to hit the track just about as once. You'll see the numbers popping up on the top of your screen here. Justin Stoles will go early quick time, a 13.620. Field Miller in that second spot, 13.637. He'll go a 6.77 on his second lap. Bill Rocky right now sits third, 13.778 was his second lap. He'll take 13.644 from his opening lap. Daniel Vaught right now sitting in the fourth spot in the 180 car, 13.654. Lucas Schultz, 13.696 right now, completing the top 5. JP, Jeremy Paulson right now, 13.700, sitting 6th. Blake Nutley Butler sitting in the 7th spot. Trent Verstraeten sitting 9th as he just bumped down. And Nick Erskine leading the top 10 as Lance Ripper just shot into the top 5. 13.680 with his number 125 car. So that is just about going to bring timing to an end here. 33 drivers have timed in already in qualifications. As more drivers jump in here, Justin Stoles to the top, 13.620 for the number 23 car. Vern Hawkins sits number 2, 13.636 for him. Vern out there on the track. The last one to time in, he jumped way up there, 18.10, had a little trouble there on lap number 2. So the drivers making their way through their qualifications. It happens just like that. Don't you wish your local racetrack could qualify cars like that? Just like iRacing, just a couple minutes and away they go. And we're just about set to get into racing action here tonight with our qualifying heat races that will set the field for our mains and possibly set the championship standings here as well. Cody Shantz still out there on the racetrack in car number 32, 5th quick, 13.647 on his opening lap or second lap. That'll be 5th quick, as we mentioned. Bumps Daniel Vaught down to 6th, Lance Ripka down to 7th, Lucas Schout down to the 8th spot, Jeremy Paulson 9th, and Blake Nutley Butler completing the top 10. But checkered flag coming out on qualifications. Justin Stotts will set quick time and looks to be in a good spot here as we get set for heat races. All of the heat races, 8 laps in distance. Top 4 transfer directly to the A-Main. Heat race number 1 brought to us by the Cruise Shop, where they're dedicated to fulfilling your dreams one destination at a time. They're located right there in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana. They have a team of highly experienced travel agents and have a huge passion for travel. Look them up at thecruiseshopfw.com. That's thecruiseshopfw.com. Heat race number 1 on the racetrack. Again, 8 laps. Top 4 go directly to the A-Main here tonight. Daniel Blau, the 17, your points leader. He'll sit on the pole position. Jeremy Paulson out of Minnesota, the 000 outside of him in row 1. Cody Shantz in the 32 starts inside the second row with Justin Stoles outside of him in car number 23. Going to the third row inside, that's where we find Indiana's Rory Collins, car number 62. He'll line up inside the third row with Donald Dory outside of him, the number 12 car out of Canada, lines up 6th. To row number 4, it's Anderson Bowen on the inside. That's the number 76 car with Terry Fennell out of Georgia outside of him in the 099. And out of the back, starting 9th on the field, will be Chris Whipple out of New York in the 081. 9 cars scheduled, 8 laps the distance for Raiders Heat Race number 1 for the GeForce iRacing League here tonight. A good Motorsports Monday to all of you. Good to have you tuned in. And again, let us know where you are tuning in from, whether you be locally or wherever you may be, all around the area, all around the country. Let us know where you are tuned in from. Daniel Blau just getting gridded up. Your 9 cars have made their way onto the racetrack. They'll form up behind the iRacing pace truck for your first heat race here tonight. Again, 8 laps for transfer to the big dance. So always good to be able to bypass that eToronto Tickets B main. That'll be our last chance event here tonight. So if you finish outside the top 4 in one of your heat races, you'll have one more shot to make that Strickland's GMC feature here tonight. Right now, these drivers in the Cruise Shop Heat Race number 1, they're focused on getting through this and getting directly into that Strickland's A main. 25 laps the distance tonight for the Raiders. Field will get the 1 to go signal. Barney up there on the flag stand, letting them know we go green off of turn number 4 next time around. Daniel Blau, that number 17 machine, all but has the points championship locked up, sitting up there on the pole position. Jeremy Paulson outside of him in the Bandy-built 00. We'll see Jesse Bandy coming up tonight in the late broadcast of the Renegades. So the Nitro Fish 17, Blau bringing us to the start, your first heat race of the night. The GeForce Racing League Raiders set to go green. The Cruise Shop Heat Race number 1 making their way into the starting zone. The green flag flies. We are underway. Oh, a little contact there. The 23, Justin Stott's a little bit antsy on the start. Gets shuffled out of the top 4. The 62, Rory Collins. He'll work the inside line. Has the final transfer spot, or does he? Coming back around the outside is Stoles. He'll have the 4th and final transfer spot with 1 lap into the books and 7 to go. Out front, though, it is Blau looking strong as Shan's in that 2nd spot. Paulson in 3rd, and Stoles the 4th and final transfer spot. Very even field tonight. That's going to be the name of the game here for most of the racing action you see. This is a fixed setup league, are the Raiders. So everybody basically running the exact same setup out there on the racetrack all through the night. There's just a couple little things you can tinker with. Wing position is about it. Of course, how you drive the car. So this really, everything is in the driver's hands here tonight as we continue to work through the laps off of turn number 4. Daniel Blau out to about a 3-car length lead over the 32 of Cody Shands in that 2nd spot. Blau's lead equates out to just about 0.4 of a second as things are getting dicey now for that 2nd spot. The 32 of Cody Shands, he's got all sorts of company. Jeremy Paulson is there, and as Paulson works over him, Justin Stoles right there taking a peek as well. Right now, remember, though, they have the tickets to the A main. They don't want to do anything too wild and crazy here and get themselves out of a transfer spot. As we see Justin Stoles, a little blink going on there behind him. He'll come back into the focus as race for the lead starting to heat up here. White flag is out. Blau has company. Shands right there all over him. He'll take a look to the inside, down the back stretch, final time. Blau will work a higher line into turn number 3. Shands looks to the inside, cannot get there, gets loose. Paulson bangs the wall at the checkered flag. It's going to change quite a bit. Daniel Blau gets the win. Cody Shands gets 2nd. Justin Stoles 3rd. And Rory Collins will place in the 4th spot and directly transfer to that A main. Jeremy Paulson slips back to 5th. Chris Whipple in 6th. And the rest of the finishing order behind them, putting heat race number 1 into the books. Boy, that was a wild one there at the very end. By the way, it was Brad Wright, Terry Fennell finished 7th. Donald Dory in 8th, and Anderson Bowen was your 9th and final finisher on that one. We'll take a look next for the starting lineup on a heat race number 2, brought to us by 2Ws Plumbing and Contracting. Starting lineup will go like this. It'll be Cameron Thompson on the pole position, the number 128 car, and joining him on the opening row, it's Blake Nutley Butler in car number 96 for a pair of Canadians on row 1. Daniel Vaught lines up inside row number 2. He pilots the number 180 machine with Ferd Hawkins on his outside into number 6. Going to the third row, we'll find Brant Graham in the 114 and Jas Desjarens in the 99. He'll start outside of him in the third row. Fourth row, Brad Wright, the 270 inside, with a Derek Falkenhagen outside of him. In the 118, Charlie Bragg from the tail in the 054. So 9 cars, 8 laps, top 4 transfer to Strickland's GMC A-Main out of 2W's Plumbing Heat Race number 2. 2W's Plumbing and Contracting, located in Naples, New York. They're a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing, general contracting, and water treatment for commercial, residential, and multifamily housing. 2W's Plumbing, a family-owned and operated company with more than 10 years of experience in the plumbing industry. If you need them for service or emergency work, give them a call, 585-749-9478 or 2WSPlumbingLLC.com. That's 2WSPlumbingLLC.com. 2W's Plumbing Heat Race coming to the start. 8 laps, top 4 transfer. Vern Hawkins, Cameron Thompson, side by side on the opening row. Green flag waves from the starter stand, and we're underway, rushing them on down into turn number 1. They were 3 wide for that second spot for just a moment. Great start here for Thompson as he'll lead them down the back straightaway. Vaught in that second spot in the 180. Hawkins and Desjarens running in the top 4. It's a close one, heading into turn number 3 for that third spot. Now side by side, Brant Graham on the move. The 114 takes a look to the inside, and he'll move up into a transfer spot. Slips up the racetrack. Desjarens back to his inside in the 99. We've got a race for the final transfer spot as we battle now off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. They look forward at the 180 of Daniel Vaught, who's solidly in third. Car gets sideways. We've got contact and chaos over there in turn number 3. But for those who continued on in the top 4, they've got a little breathing room now. That's Cameron Thompson, your race leader, Vern Hawkins, Daniel Vaught in the top 3, and Jan Desjarens right now in the 4th position. He's not done there. He'll look to the inside now, coming after Daniel Vaught for the position. Vaught now on the bubble. The 180 slips back to the 4th spot. Charlie Bragg, by the way, is in position number 5, but he is a second behind Vaught for that final transfer position. Still 3 laps to go. Cameron Thompson on cruise control out front, 0.8 of a second lead over Vern Hawkins in second. They'll make their way by the flag stand now. 2 laps to go in the 2W's Plumbing and 2W's Plumbing and Contracting Heat Race number 2. Into turn number 3, very smooth line for Cameron Thompson, your race leader, keeping the momentum up in that 128 machine at the white flag. He leads by 0.7 of a second. Hawkins, Desjarens, Vaught still in the transfer spots. Final trip down the back straightaway. Bragg's got a little bit of company behind him from Falkenhagen, but not going to matter. Cameron Thompson picks up the win. Vern Hawkins, Jan Desjarens, Daniel Vaught in the top 4 spots. Charlie Bragg was 5th, Falkenhagen 6th, Blake Nutley Butler 7th, Brant Graham finishes 8th, and Brad Wright finishes in position number 9. Heat race number 3 next up on the schedule for the GeForce Racing League Raiders. It's brought to us by Schultz Heating and Cooling. And we'll take a look at the starting grid for this one. It'll be Austin Graby on the pole, the 087, one of the Pennsylvania posse in this league on the inside of row number 1. Trent Verstraeten outside of him in the 088. Lance Ripka out of Minnesota, the 125. He'll start 3rd on the grid, and joining Ripper on that row is Field Miller, the 677. 3rd row, Scott Hurwitz out of Pennsylvania inside the 501. Mike Cranmer outside of him in the 70. To the 4th row, it's Gary Taylor, the 34 inside. John Rayner in the 302 outside. And from the back, it's Derek Wutzke in the 116. 8 laps, top 4 transfer to the big dance here tonight. The Strickland's GMC feature out of Schultz Heating and Cooling Heat Race number 3. They're the HVAC experts. They're in Naples, New York. If you need routine maintenance check or an emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit, Schultz Heating and Cooling available to handle all of your heating, cooling, and ventilation needs. They have more than 20 years of experience, and they always work hard to make sure they have the most up-to-date information about all of your heating and cooling needs. It's hometown service at a reasonable price. Call Mike, 585-330-4992. That's 585-330-4992. of Schultz Heating and Cooling, bringing us heat race number 3 for the GeForce Racing League Raiders. Down the back straightaway behind the iRacing Pace vehicle. Great racing in our opening 2 heat races here tonight as the track continues to work in. Continue to expect to see more quality racing all night long with the GeForce iRacing League. Pace truck hits the infield. Green flag is out and we're underway. Still side by side for that race lead. Couple cars tangling up behind the lead pack, getting into turn number 1, but they are still 2 by 2 as the 4 now 3 wide off of turn number 4 to complete the opening lap. Austin Graby out front in the 088, or make that the 87 for Stratton. Right there, side by side with Field Miller in the second position, the 677. A little bit loose there for Stratton. He'll slip back to the 4th spot. Is it enough for Scott Hurwitt to capitalize and get into a transfer spot? We'll find out. As we look at that, we'll also keep an eye out front, the race lead. Field Miller coming forward. The 087 looking for the race lead, ripping around the high side. Field Miller, Austin Graby still battling for the lead. Then Trent Verstraeten and Lance Ripka side by side, 3rd and 4th. So a 4-pack of cars with 1 extra at the back. And that is going to be critical because 4 of these 5 cars can only transfer into the A main. They'll make their way through 3 and 4. Little contact out front. Little shot to the tail. It's getting wild out here with 3 laps to go. It's Miller out front for Stratton in 2nd. Hewitt up to 3rd. Ripka now around his outside. Ripka into 3rd. And Scott Hewitt has the final transfer spot, but he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Coming around the outside is Austin Graby. Graby had the spot at the line. 2 laps to go. Now Hurwitt with the advantage on the bottom, but Graby has the momentum on the top. White flag flies. Field Miller looking strong in this one, but who is going to get that 4th and final transfer spot? The 501, Scott Hurwitt on the inside. Austin Graby in the 087 on the outside. Final turn at the line. Oh, you call it. You call that one. The scoring says Scott Hurwitt gets the 4th and final transfer spot. Oh, by thousands of a second. The difference in that one. My goodness. Wow. Daniel Blau picked up heat race number 1, heat race number 2. As we remember, Cameron Thompson picked that one up. And in heat race number 3, the victor, Field Miller. Trent Verstraeten was 2nd, Lance Ripka 3rd, and Scott Hurwitt in the 4th spot, 8 thousandths of a second ahead of Austin Graby, who was 5th. Mike Cranmer in 6th, Derek Wutzke, Gary Taylor, and John Rayner completing the field of 9. That brings us to heat race number 4. A&J Custom Creations brings us this heat race. I'll tell you more about them. First, we need to take a look at the starting lineup. It'll be Nick Erskine on the outside of the front row. On the pole, the 419, that is Luke out of Ohio. Second row inside, Lucas Schote in the 143 for LLC iRacing, and Bill Rocky in the 115 from Pennsylvania outside of him. Row number 3, Zachary Chapman, the 720 inside. Outside, it's Rob Shaw in the 519. Going to the 4th row, 7th starter Steven Bixler in the 75, and Ryan Frazier in the 194. And coming from the back will be the 016, that's Benjamin Kolsch. So those are your 9 stars. Looks like Benjamin Kolsch did not make the call for this start. So 8 cars on the racetrack set to go 8 times around. 4 of them will transfer to the Strickland's A main. Heat race number 4 brought to us by A&J Custom Creations, where they specialize in laser engraving and CNC machining. A&J puts their craftsmanship to work in every wood trophy and plaque that they produce. They also provide trophies and plaques for all of the GeForce Racing League Division champions. Contact Andy Patton for your custom creation today from A&J Custom Creations. We'll hand out some of that hardware after tonight's feature events, but right now we're set to go. Heat race number 4 coming to the green. It waves. We are underway. It'll be Luke leading them down into turn number 1, nearly 3 wide for that 2nd spot as the 64 of Nick Erskine He'll go to the top, seeing that top line really starting to come in here late in that last heat race. Now it looks like it is the preferred groove around the Volusia Speedway. 3 wide, nearly 4 wide. That's going to be tight, and that's going to be trouble off of turn number 2. Zachary Chapman escapes with that one, as does Bill Rocky. They run 3rd and 4th. Chapman looked to get the car loose there off of turn number 4. Bill Rocky, Zachary Chapman side by side now in turn number 2, racing for the 2nd spot, down the 3rd and 4th spot down the back straightaway. They're not too far in front of Steven Bixler right now, who is outside looking in for a transfer spot. Out front, though, things getting hot and heavy. The 419 of Luke has company now. The 64 of Nick Erskine has caught him. Erskine through the middle, Luke running the top. And still like that as they go down into turn number 1. Erskine just trailing your race leader as they make their way down the back straightaway. 0.3 of a second separating them. Things getting wild back here for the 5th spot. Ryan Frazier, Steven Bixler going to duke that spot out. But they've got to keep big picture in mind here as well. 3 laps to go. Zachary Chapman right now in front of Ryan Frazier, who runs at 5th. Chapman's advantage over that 5th place car is 0.6 of a second. Now with 2 laps to go. Chapman probably feeling quite good about his chances of getting a transfer spot in this one. We'll see if he can hold on to it for another lap and a half. Out front, battle for the race lead. Erskine to the bottom. He'll slide up the racetrack. Luke still has it in the 419 as he sees the white flag. Oh, boy, we've got trouble on the front straightaway. Cars going around. That is going to make a big change in the running order here as well. Luke, Erskine, and Chapman, they run in the transfer spots side by side for the final transfer spot off of turn number 4, and it will go to the 75 of Steven Bixler at the checkered. So things wild there at the white flag on heat race number 4. The race goes official, and Steven Bixler, let's hope he didn't use up all of his luck for the night there in heat race number 4, but he'll shoot into a transfer spot on the final moments of heat race number 4. Your unofficial finish, by the way, looks like this. It'll be Luke, your race leader, in the 419. Nick Erskine in the 2nd spot, the 64. Zachary Chapman 3rd. Steven Bixler with that final transfer spot. Lucas Schote was in the 5th spot. Bill Rocky 6th. Ryan Frazier 7th. Rob Shaw 8th. And Benjamin Kolsch finished in the 9th spot. Just like that, we are up to tonight's eToronto Tickets B-Main. eToronto Tickets, Toronto and North America's ticketing choice for major concerts, shows, and sporting events. Remember, eToronto Tickets never charges you additional fees, so get your fee-free tickets today from eToronto Tickets. Let's take a look at the starting grid for this one. It'll be the 00, Jeremy Paulson. He'll start on the pole. Charlie Bragg outside of him on row number 1. Row number 2, we'll have Austin Gravy inside the 087. Lucas Schote in the 143 outside of him. Chris Whipple inside the 3rd row, the 81. Derek Falkenhagen, the 118, joins him. Mike Cranmer in the 70 inside the 4th row. Bill Rocky outside of row number 4. Row number 5, it's the 099 of Terry Fennell. And Blake Nutley Butler in the 96 starts in position number 10. Row number 6 on the inside, the 116 is Derek Wutsky. And with his to his outside is the 194 of Ryan Frazier in the 12th starting spot. The rest of your starting grid, Daniel Dory lines up inside row number 7 in the 12 car. Outside of him, the 114 of Brant Graham. Moving to row number 8, it's Gary Taylor in the 34 and Rob Shaw in the 519. 9th row has Anderson Bowen on the inside, the 76. Brad Wright starts outside the 9th row in position number 18. John Rayner in the 302 starts 19th, and outside the 10th row, Benjamin Kolsch in position number 20 in car 16. 20 cars on the racetrack set to go for your eToronto Tickets B-Main. Field just about set to go. Making their way off of turn number 4. Green flag waves, and we are underway with this last chance. 8 drivers going on to the A-Main at the end of this one. Who will they be? We will find out after this 10-lapper. Field up to speed off of turn number 4 they come, putting the first laps in this eToronto Tickets B-Main into the books. Out front, Jeremy Paulson looking strong. Well, there's a big pile up down there in turn number 1. That's going to sort things out. You can see the names and numbers clicking by on the top of the screen. You'll see who's in those top 10 transfer spots. Watching out front, Jeremy Paulson, Charlie Bragg running 1st and 2nd. They run the top group. Lucas Schote right there, Chris Whipple, Bill Rocky completing the top 5. Austin Gravy in the 6th spot. Mike Cranmer runs 7th. Brant Graham runs 8th. Rob Shaw runs 9th. And Derek Wutzke right now in the 10th and final transfer spot. Those drivers all pretty content where they are. One spot out, however, is Blake Nutley Butler. The number 96 machine is trying to make his way back into the top 10, and he's doing it pretty mightily. He's got no hood. He's got no nose wing. Front of that car is all messed up, and yet he's holding on to the 11th position. We'll have to see if he can hold on just enough and maybe transfer up or get a little bit of luck on his side to get into a transfer spot and get that car fixed up for the A main. Still out front with the halfway mark of this Toronto Tickets B main. It's Jeremy Paulson, Charlie Bragg, Lucas Schote starting to battle for the 2nd spot. Of course, every position here is another position you don't have to make up in the A main. So things getting a little interesting right now for that 2nd spot. Charlie Bragg in the 54, the 143, Lucas Schote. That is happening right in front of Bill Rocky, who runs in 4th. Side by side for the position now off of turn number 2. Lucas Schote in the 143 has the spot, got the car loose. Getting into turn number 3. Charlie Bragg all over his tail tank as they come off turn number 4. Flashed by the starter stand now with 2 laps to go. Jeremy Paulson leads by 0.7 of a second. He's got some traffic looming not too far in front of him. May or may not become a factor in the closing lap. Just over a lap to go as they come to the white flag. Look at this, a late race move. Bill Rocky starting to find that bottom side to his liking. The 115 coming forward. He's up to 3rd. And then we've got trouble back straightaway. Some cars tangling up back there. Checkered flag is out. It goes to Jeremy Paulson, your Toronto Tickets B feature event winner. Bill Rocky finishes 2nd. Charlie Bragg finishes 3rd. Austin Gravy in the 4th spot. Chris Whipple finishes 5th. Brant Graham was 6th. Mike Cranmer finished 7th. Lucas Schote was able to come back to the 8th position. Blake Nutley Butler, we talked about him needing just a little bit of luck with that damaged car. He got it and got into the main event. And Donald Dory, the final transfer of 10 out of that B main. Oh my, that was interesting on the closing circuit. That puts all of the qualifying events into the books here tonight at the season championship for the GeForce Racing League Raiders. Their A main coming up here in just a couple of minutes. 25 laps will be the distance when we get around to that one. Stick around after the feature event. Of course, we will have our Southern Patio Enclosures Victory Lane presentation. You'll stick around for that. Hear from all 3 of our podium finishers here tonight, plus our champion. And then after that, stick around. We'll have a Pitside Podcast intermission report before we go into the Rebels racing action scheduled to start just past the top of the hour. So, again, glad to have you all here for some GeForce Racing League Raiders action here tonight. Don't go anywhere. Still a lot of action to come your way here this evening, including the A main that they're getting warmed up for out there on the racetrack right now. I want to also thank the good folks from GeForce Racing Leagues for allowing us to be part of tonight's broadcast. Again, I'm Sean Niestead. You may, well, no, you don't know who I am. But from Houston Speedway here in South Dakota. I'm 4 minutes from Houston Speedway, where I sit right now doing this broadcast with you guys. So if you've heard of that, that's the part of the world I'm from. Also want to give a big thanks, Ryan Dugan from AdvantageRacing.tv, doing the production work for this portion of the broadcast tonight. If you ever want to take a look at some great racing action from across the upper Midwest of the United States, just look them up, AdvantageRacing.tv. That's their website, or search Advantage Racing on Facebook, and you'll see their great work of their broadcast. Many of the series around our area, many of the racetracks around our area, you'll see their action. And you can look back, you're getting that wintertime blues. You can go back and look at the racing action from the past season as well. That's, again, AdvantageRacing.tv. So glad to have this opportunity to work with the good folks from GeForce iRacing Leagues here tonight, and really looking forward to watching not only the Rebels coming up here tonight, but the Renegades coming up after that as well. So a triple header of 360 sprint car action for your enjoyment here this evening. Again, keep in mind, this is the championship event, week 11 of the Fall 2020 series. Jeremy Paulson, who we just saw win that B main, coming into tonight 10th in points. Chris Whipple just in front of him in 9th. Cody Shands in the 8th spot. Donald Dory 7th. Stephen Bixler 6th. Brad Wright in 5th in the points. Field Miller 4th in the points. Derek Falkenhagen comes into tonight 3rd. Vern Hawkins the 3rd sits number 2 in the points. And Daniel Blau, who we saw pick up a heat race win, is your points leader for the GeForce Racing League Raiders. He's got a feature win at Charlotte. Field Miller with the feature win at Eldora. Cody Shands, the two-time feature winner of the tour thus far here in the fall 2020, picking up wins at Lanier and Lernerville. Justin Stoles, 3 times a winner here in fall of 2020 with the Raiders, getting those victories at Williams Grove, Kokomo, and USA. And, of course, Stephen Gregory's got 3 wins as well in the fall 2020 points series, Fairland, Limeland, and Charlotte for that driver. All right, it is time to get the field set. 25 laps is the distance for tonight's A feature event. It is brought to us, of course, by the good folks. We're right up there in Ontario at Strickland's GMC in Brantford, Ontario. Here is the starting lineup for tonight's A main. Starting 22nd, make that starting 24th on the grid. It'll be Lucas Schote in the 143, and inside of the 12th row, it's Mike Cranmer in the number 70. Row number 11 on the outside, it is Brant Graham in the 22, and inside of him, the 21 of Chris Whipple. Starting outside the 10th row, it's Austin Gravy in the 087, and inside of him, Charlie Bragg in the 054. 9th row outside, Bill Rocky in the 115, with Jeremy Paulson, B-main winner, lining up 17th in the 00. 8th row outside, Stephen Bixler in the 75, and inside of him, Scott Hurwitz in the 501. Moving to the 7th row, it's Daniel Vaught in the 180, with Rory Collins in the 62, inside of him. Going to the 6th row outside, Zachary Chapman in the 720, and the 125, Lance Ripka, rolls off from position number 11. Yandis Jarens starts in the 10th spot outside row 5. Inside of him, Justin Stoles in the 23. 4th row, Nick Erskine in the 64, with Trent Verstraeten in the 88. Inside of him, row number 3, Vern Hawkins outside in the 6, with the 32 of Cody Shands outside or inside of row number 3. Row number 2 made up of the 419 of Luke. Into his inside will be Field Miller in the 677. And your front row tonight, Cameron Thompson, the 128. And on the pole is your points leader, Daniel Blau, in the car number 17. 24 cars, 25 laps around Volusia. It is just about time for this main event. By the way, top 5 finishers from this one get an invite to the Rebels event coming up here at the top of the hour. Keep that in mind. We are set. It's main event time. The GeForce Racing League Raiders underway at Volusia. Down into turn number 1. Daniel Blau wastes no time. He'll grab the initial lead, but here comes Cameron Thompson looking to his outside, looking to grab the momentum. He's got the right rear on the cushion, looking for the race lead. Side by side, by the flag stand they go, and Cameron Thompson leads lap number 1. Blau back to the inside. He'll slide up, trying to grab that race lead. Cannot get it. They are side by side down the back straightaway as the caution flag comes out. Yellow is out over the speedway. We saw trouble there in turn number 4, and Lucas Schote in the 143 had trouble at the exit of the 4th turn. Not sure if we'll get a look at that on the Malcolm Mills replay, but do want to remind you that Malcolm Mills is based in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. Malcolm Mills Mill Riding, their full-service mill riding contractor servicing forestry and industrial clients. Big thanks to them for all of their support of the GeForce Racing League and tonight's presentation with the Raiders. If you're unfamiliar with this league, the Raiders basically kind of like the C division. The B division will be the Rebels. We'll see them coming up at the top of the hour. And then on GeForce Esports YouTube, you can tune in there to see the A division, the Renegades, coming up 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern Time to conclude your triple header of 360 sprint car action tonight with the GeForce Racing League. So the field will get set. Of course, in these Raiders feature events, the caution laps do count. So tick, tick, tick as the drivers who have a lot of places to go, they're ready to see that green flag come back out, and they will see that off of turn number 4 next time. Daniel Blau is your leader. Cody Shands in the 2nd spot. Justin Stoles in position number 3. Stoles gained 6 spots on that opening lap, so keep an eye on that number 23 machine starting back there in 3rd on this restart. We'll have to see how many more positions he can gain. Of course, he's just got 2 more in front of him, but a very good opening lap. Pace truck ready to drop them off at the exit of turn number 4. Daniel Blau, your race leader in the number 17. The caution flag stays out. We'll go one more time around the racetrack to get set here at Volusia. Good looking race cars for these guys. Gotta make note of that, you know. Sometimes it means a lot. You can tell that the drivers in this league, they've taken some time to get some very, very good paint schemes on their cars. So kudos to them for that. Daniel Blau having a very consistent season. We talked about that. And that number 17 machine. Pace picks up. We are back to green here at Volusia. Through turns 1 and 2, Blau looking strong. He was able to get to the top shelf and start building that momentum. He'll lead him back to turn 3 and 4. Look at Justin Stoles. He's up to the 2nd spot as the yellow is out once again. So a little trouble here getting things going early on in this feature event here tonight at Volusia. Justin Stoles, however, having no trouble at all. Despite the cautions, he's +7 from the drop of the green flag, and now stalks Daniel Blau when they come back to the green flag here in just a little bit. So another caution flag out in this feature event. And caution flag coming out there. Sounds like continued trouble there. Lucas Schultz may have had some trouble there on that start. And his core is number 143. So Blau out front, but Stoles has been the one making the moves. He restarts 2nd. Cody Shands in that 3rd spot. 419 of Luke in position number 4. And Field Miller starting in 5th. We go back to the green. Trent Verstraeten is 6th, Vern Hawkins 7th, Jan Disjarens in the 8th spot, Lance Ripka runs 9th, and Rory Collins, he's gained 3 spots to move himself into the top 10 when we go back to the green. You'll see the laps continuing to come down on the ticker on top of your screen as the good folks from Advantage Racing TV continue to give you some good looks on the speedway of the cars making their way around. I love the camera that they've got set on the front end of these cars underneath the nose wings. Ryan Dugan is the producer and the mastermind behind the show here tonight, and I think that's the favorite camera angle that I've seen him customize so far. Always enjoy that. Daniel Blau out front. Pace truck drops him off. Here we come back to green flag action. Green in the air, back underway. Blau, Stoles, Shands, 1, 2, 3. Into turn 1 they go. Blau will get to the top, trying to get that momentum going once again. Does Justin Stoles have anything for him? We will find out as we work ourselves off of turn number 4 with 14 laps to go. Blau got the car a little bit loose there off turn number 4. Here comes Cody Shands. Cody Shands on the inside, the 32, pulls side by side with Justin Stoles. They race into turn number 3. They're wheel to wheel, making it a 3-car tussle for the front spot. 3 wide down the front straightaway for the lead, and Justin Stoles grabs it, bangs the wall in turn number 1, but continues on in the 23. Flip the numbers right behind him. It's the 32, Cody Shands running in the 2nd spot. Daniel Blau shuffled back to 3rd as the caution comes out once again. How about that move off of turn number 4? 3 cars battling for the race lead, and Justin Stoles. You know the last name Stoles, but looks like he stole the race lead on that one, making that power move to the very tippy top of turns 3 and 4, where he really started to build that momentum. and made it work. You'll see that middle part of the racetrack. It really starts to slick off here at Volusia in the A main. And with a dozen laps or so remaining in this one, you're going to see that track continue to slick off. And that's going to be one of the key factors here that these drivers are going to have to navigate for the remaining 10 or so laps when we go back to green flag action. Of course, this A feature is powered by Strickland's GMC. They're in Brantford, Ontario. Go where the winners go. See Rick Scott from Strickland's GMC. So big move so far out of Justin Stoles in this one. The 23 machine looking so good. Coming into tonight, 18th in the points, but as we mentioned right before, this Strickland's GMC A feature, 3 times a winner on the Raiders Tour this year. Williams Grove, Kokomo, and USA Speedway, the sites of those victories. Cody Sean's in that second spot. He's looking strong as well. He's advanced 3 positions. Blau restarts in 3rd, Luke in the 4th spot, and Trent Verstraeten in position number 5. Field Miller now runs 6th. The Yondis Jarens up to the 7th spot. Vern Hawkins is 8th. Lance Ripka 9th. And Rory Collins continues in position 10. Pace truck drops him off. Stoles brings him around the top side of turn number 4 to the green flag, and we are back underway in the G-Force Racing League Raiders main event. Big move here from the 419. Luke works the bottom just in front of Trent Verstraeten, 4th and 5th as the yellow flag flies. Once again, trouble over there, I believe in turn number 2, brought out the caution. Everyone's since been able to gather it up and continue on. As Justin Stoles will pull up behind the iRacing pace vehicle and get set for another restart. Great restart for him on that last one. You saw him bring him all the way to the top of the racetrack. And as we were talking about when that last caution flag came out, the track is still drying out under these cautions, under all of these laps. It's still daylight here at the virtual Volusia Speedway. That does factor in on iRacing. Time of day, wind, humidity. It all factors into racetrack conditions. And right now, that Florida sun is up in the air and up in the sky, and it is drying this racetrack at a rapid rate during this Strickland's GMC A main. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like here in these closing laps. And what really starts to get me when I run laps around this racetrack, watch turns 3 and 4. Turns 1 and 2, you can go in on the top, and it really seems to me like if you go in on the top, you've got it. It's not as difficult as 3 and 4, as long as you miss where the wall sticks in a little bit there in turn number 1. And there's also the bottom groove over there in 1 and 2. We saw a couple cars on that restart just outside the top 3. We're on the bottom over there in 1 and 2. It's 3 and 4 where you can really make some hay. If you take the car in right up next to the wall in turn number 3, you keep that momentum, and you've got to stay up towards the top. You cannot dip down coming off of turn number 4 and get the rear tires in the slick, or you'll spin them and get loose and give up all sorts of momentum. Momentum is what they're trying to build as we go back to the green, down into turn number 1. Sean's going to take a look to the inside in that 32 car, trying to get down into the grip. The 17 of Daniel Blau, he's got the wing pulled back and now pulling along the top side of the racetrack. He's trying to build that momentum, but he'll run down turn number 4, got the car into the slick just a little bit, may have slowed his momentum. Cody Sean's in that second spot, and now they're side by side for 3rd behind them and may have a 3-car tussle outside of the top 2. 2 distinct grooves here with 3 laps to go for Justin Stoles out front. Stoles ripping the top side of the speedway. Here comes the 17 of Daniel Blau on the top. Got the car loose off of turn number 2. Luke in the 419 up to the 3rd spot. He'll slide up the racetrack, grabs the cushion coming off of turn number 4, but that allows Trent Verstraeten to look to his inside. Verstraeten in the 088. 4 cars now battling, 3 wide. Contact, we've got them stacking up on the back straightaway with the yellow flag coming out. Oh, it was getting wild just outside the top 2 as the caution flag comes out in this one. A couple couple cars tangled up deep in the field. Looks like Mike Cranmer in the 70 may have been part of that one. But the yellow flag coming out here late in the go on this one. Oh, you hate to see that caution when it was getting really, really wild there. Blau, Verstraeten, Luke, and Hawkins were all battling for those positions. They're going to restart third through sixth or so. When we go back to the green, we'll have a couple attempts at a green-white checkered on this one for the GeForce Racing League's Raiders. Again, stick around. Coming up just a few minutes after this one wraps up, we will move into the Rebels broadcast tonight, their championship event coming up from the virtual Volusia. We'll have the Pitside Podcast intermission report, a couple minutes to hear from those guys coming up at the conclusion of this A-Main, and after we talk to our top 3 podium finishers in the Southern Patio Enclosures Victory Lane presentation. So a lot to happen, including a whole nother race on this exact stream, so you don't have to touch anything. You see the checkered flag, just enjoy hearing from the top 3, your champion, and we'll set the table for the upcoming Raiders and Renegades events yet to come your way here tonight. We'll have the Raiders coming up right here on this very stream. Not long after we get the checkered flag on this one. Justin Stoll started 9th on the field here tonight, got a great start on the initial lap, and he has been faithful to the top side of the speedway in that car number 23. He's got just a couple more laps to hold on to get the victory in this one. Pace truck drops him off. Pace picks up back to the green, and into turn number 1 they go. Stolz will go to the top, but Cody Sean's big slider from him. Stoll's going to have to go back to the inside. It goes back on the offensive. They touch, getting into turn number 3. Here comes Blau with a slider as well. He'll grab the second spot. White flag is out. Justin Stolz pulling away on this one until he slapped the wall down there in turn number 1. That may be enough for Daniel Blau to get a run, or will he? Final set of turns. Stolz on the top. He will rip off of turn number 4 and pick up the Raiders win with the GeForce Racing League. A second place run for Daniel Blau. Cody Seans finishes 3rd. Trent Verstraeten in 4th. And Jan Jarens finishes in the 5th spot. Luke finishes 6th. Lance Ripka was 7th. Field Miller 8th. Vern Hawkins 9th. And Cameron Hurwitt goes 5 positions in the good to come home in the top 10. Cameron Thompson was 11th. Rory Collins 12th. Bill Rocky finishes in the 13th spot. Charlie Bragg was 14th. Chris Whipple 15th. Daniel Vaught 16th. Nick Erskine 17th. Austin Graby in the 18th spot. Zachary Chapman 19th and 20th to Jeremy Paulson. Brent Graham finishes 21st. Steven Bixler 22nd. Mike Cranmer 23rd. And Lucas Schote, your 24th finisher here tonight for the GeForce Racing League Raiders. We're going to head down there into Victory Lane and hear from our podium finishers here tonight in the Southern Patio Enclosures Victory Lane presentation. Southern Patio Enclosures manufactures and installs roll-up and down patio enclosures that allow you to use your patio year-round. Southern Patio Enclosures strive to deliver the most durable and economical patio enclosure products all across the nation, and they know how each business is unique, and that's why their patio enclosures are custom made with their designs, because you may have a different need than the business down the road. You can choose between clear vinyl and sunshade materials, and you can learn more. Just look them up. Southern Patio Enclosures. They can even install your enclosures as well. Looking forward to hearing from our feature finishers in the top 3 here tonight. Cody Sean's going to be the first one. We're going to make our way over to him in that number 32 machine. Cody, great run here tonight. Things were wild up there. The last few laps with you guys in the top 3. Looked like on that last restart, you did all you could to try to steal the lead from Justin Stolz. He just got back to your inside. Tell us about the track there in those last few laps. Really seemed to get slick in the middle.
Yeah, that middle was tough to run. I got there a couple times, but that bottom, I had it rolling. I always consider myself more of a bottom feeder as it is, so I didn't think the top really would have did it for me. There at the end, tried throwing a slider on Justin, but he was blinking in and out there the whole race, so I was trying to be careful around him, not to take myself out. But good run by him, just bonehead move on my part on that last restart.
What would you have done differently? You called it a bonehead move, but it looked pretty good. He just had the perfect counter. So if you had it to do over again, what may have you done?
I think I'd have stuck that bottom line. Don't think I would have threw the slider because, like I said, I was just trying to stay away from him with him blinking the way he was. I just had to try to not get around him in case net code or anything like that. So definitely would have just stuck the bottom instead of going to the top at all.
How tough was it getting down there on the bottom? We saw this track really change dramatically in that A main. Was the bottom really wearing out? How wide was the moisture down there on the bottom?
There was just about nothing left there on the bottom. I was rolling the bottom about 3/4 of the way down the track. I'd get completely out of the throttle and I wouldn't be in it again until I was coming out of the corner. So it was tight to be able to roll the bottom the way I was, but made it happen.
Good run here, finishing in the top 10 in the points this season. A couple of wins to the credit here with the Raiders. You get to move on to the Rebels event coming up here in a little bit. All in all, I would say this season's probably been a success for you.
Yeah, it's been an awesome season. Haven't got to run as much as I'd like to. With work and personal life going on, it's been tough to get in here as much as I wanted to, but I'll take a top 10 and a couple of decent finishes.
Well, Cody, congratulations on a good run here tonight and a good season overall. Look forward to seeing you again down the road.
Appreciate it.
All right, so Cody finishes there in the third spot here tonight. Finishing in the runner-up spot, let's go to your winner. Let's talk with Justin Stoles. Let's talk with Justin, who comes home the winner here tonight. Justin, I think you set the pace right there at the beginning. First lap, you ripped around and gained, 6 positions? What was that the key to the win here tonight?
No, that was not the key. I knew I was faster than everyone else on the track. It's just a matter of knowing the line, and I knew the line where the track was right then and there.
Saw you may have bounced the wall a little bit in turn 1 a couple of times. How thin of a razor was it up there to be on the cushion but not hit that wall where it sticks out in turn 1?
It was a big cushion. It was nowhere close to what I'm used to. I'm used to absolutely nothing. I just messed up the entry just right, and it bounced off the wall. Had to get out of it and correct.
Justin, this will be your 4th win with the Raiders here in fall 2020. A great way to end the points series. How good do you feel now that the points are wrapped up and you get to look forward to the winter series?
It's just same old for me. I've been running GForce when it was called Osh Weekend, like first season. So it's just gonna be same old for me. Go race, have fun, knock off some wins.
That's what it's all about, as long as you're having fun. Congratulations on the win tonight. The 23 cars certainly look good.
Thank you.
Justin Stoles picks up the win here tonight, and that leaves us one driver from the podium to talk to. He'll finish number 2 here tonight, but the champion overall. We talked about consistency, and that's exactly what Daniel Blau has done all Raiders season long. Daniel, you finish in the 2nd spot here tonight, but another solid run for that 17 car up front. Has to feel good when you sit here right now and reflect on all these races, and I think, one race outside the top 10? That is an incredible season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Super proud of it. This is my first season in the sprint cars on iRacing. I've mostly done late model stuff. So yeah, definitely super proud of the season. It was a lot of fun. And especially tonight, I am not, to be honest, not good at Volusia at all. So I was really afraid of making a mistake up front. So I just wanted to just stay smooth and not make a mistake and just try to bring it home in one piece tonight.
Talk about struggling here at Volusia. What is it about this track that makes it difficult?
I honestly, I don't know, because most of the tracks, I prefer them when they slick off. I feel like I get better and I tend to move to the front more when it slicks off, but there's just something about the line at Volusia that I just have not been able to figure out. And I knew once the top slicked off, Justin and Cody were going to be coming, and they were going to be coming quick. So I told them over the radio, hey, when you guys get to me, I know you're faster than me. Just don't wreck me. I'm going to give you the outside, and just I'm going to try to settle in behind you. So I was going to let those guys battle it out and just try to, like I said, bring it home. I knew I had the championship wrapped up tonight, and I just didn't want to embarrass myself and wreck it on championship night.
You said you didn't want to wreck, but suddenly you found yourself 3 wide down the front straightaway at one point.
When Cody threw that slider on the restart, it really jumbled things up, and I saw Trent coming up from behind, and I knew I couldn't give him too much room. So there, I was just kind of in that situation where it's like, well, I give those guys as much room as I can and hold my line and hope it turns out good.
And let's wrap this up because I know you've got to get racing here with the Rebels here in a little bit. But let's talk about this season, how consistent you were. How good does that feel to know that you can now put champion next to your name here in the fall 2020 season?
Super cool, super proud of it. I've honestly never won a league championship. I've been doing online racing stuff since back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I quit for about 15 years and just got back into it here within the last year. So, and I always did the NASCAR asphalt stuff prior. So this is the dirt leagues. This is the first time I've ever done it here in the last year. So super proud of it. And like I said, this was my first sprint car league. So I actually got the opportunity to move up to the B division about mid-season, and I declined that invitation to move up just because I had such little experience in the sprint cars, and especially with open setups in the B division. So I just wanted to stick it out in the C division and run an entire season, because a lot of these tracks I had 0 laps on, especially in a sprint car. So yeah, so again, super proud of it. I want to thank Roger and Preston, everybody at GForce Racing Leagues. This is, again, I've only been back online racing for about a year, but bar none, this is the best league I've found and been a part of in the last year. GForce is great. So many leagues, little of something for everybody. So super proud of that. And I want to thank my wife for letting me do this.
Well done. The last thing you said there was the most important thing you can say all night long. Congratulations again on the championship. Well done all season long, and looking forward to seeing you continue with your successes in the future.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate all you guys do, and appreciate you guys taking care of the broadcast tonight. A lot of fun.
Our pleasure. Glad to have you guys here. So Daniel Blau, your 2020 fall season champion for the GForce Racing League Raiders. He'll come home number 2 here tonight with the Raiders, and they'll all get set to do some more racing coming up here in just a little bit. Stick around right here on this feed. You do not have to go anywhere. There will be more racing action coming up in just a little bit. So don't go too far. The Rebels, the B division of the GForce Racing League, coming up in just a couple of minutes. Braden Finsel, your points leader, coming into this championship event in that division. We'll talk more about him when we roll around to that portion of the show. But to set the table for tonight's event, we want to check in with the good folks from the Pitside Podcast and get their intermission report and talk about what we just witnessed and talk about the upcoming races we were yet to see here tonight. Preston, Roger, great to have you guys here tonight. Let's turn to you guys. Daniel Blau, very impressive so far tonight in that event, and really looking forward. I am really looking forward to seeing this Rebels event coming up here in just a little bit.
And I'm not going to let Roger make the same mistake I did last time we did this. Roger is racing in the next race. He can hear us, but I know he's probably out practice laps in as well. Roger, you got your ears on?
I'm here, buddy. I think we owe Dan Blau a beer when we see him at a track somewhere for all those kind of things he said.
No doubt. He ran great, and I think I noticed pretty early on that he was playing it safe, just trying to make sure. I think he might have had it pretty much locked up anyway, but just trying to make front.
Yeah, it's he's been consistent all year, as Sean was saying earlier, and that was a great race and also a great call, Sean. It was a great job with you and the magic man behind the curtain there, Ryan. Ryan's off now pedaling, trying to get the next session up, and we're just buying some time here to get into the next session. But yeah, looking forward to the Rebels division as well. It's Braden Finsel's kind of run away with a lot of it, but it's really tight behind that.
So, and we have something we call the Hot Shoe Challenge, which is probably not unfamiliar to a lot of people. It's something that several tracks will do out there. But it's typically, if you win 2 races in a row, what happens is you go to the back and you get an extra 25 bonus points if you're able to win the race. I know Braden's been able to do that a couple of times, and I believe he has that in effect again tonight. So he'll be starting from the rear of the feature, provided he makes it, which would be a rare occasion that he did.
He's been successful twice already this year. So for sure, Sean and Ryan will have to keep their eye on him coming up through the pack because he usually doesn't waste much time. The bald Buckeye from Ohio. So it should be a good race. And I don't know if I'm not looking forward to these guys that are transferring through. That the Rebels division just gets tougher and tougher. And I'm straining with my fingertips to hang on to not being moved down one division.
Yeah, and that's I know it's related to both points and IL. For those that aren't familiar, our IL is basically a safety rating of our own, right? And we require that it be at certain levels to be in certain divisions. And I was watching that last race and really noticed they're in trouble there, but it's really hard to back it down. And just especially in the last race of the season, it's at Volusia, which is a notoriously just racy track. Have to really change your mindset in order to nurse the IL rather than go for that gap that just may barely be there. And I don't think we see a lot of guys that are they might be looking finish rather than the season's finish. So this would be something we have to watch for.
And the other thing is guys if guys do get moved down because of a high IL, they'll have to look at those times that maybe they on the pace laps they banged the guy for 2 incident points, and that could be the difference just because you weren't paying attention on pace laps.
Yeah. So are you out practicing now, or are you just kind of taking it easy? And
I'm busy talking to you, buddy. We have the IL in the league overall is 0.250. Last year we lowered the Rebels B division to 0.225 and the Renegades to 0.20. So those guys can race fast. They can race super clean. But I'm at, I think, 0.217. So I'm high enough to stay in the league with points, but I don't have any drop weeks. So I'm really scared about the IL.
Yeah, you'll have to play it careful, and I guess not getting any practice laps in is might be a little detrimental. So everybody will have to look out for Crash Craig tonight.
Yeah, they're always looking out for Crash Craig.
Yeah, so we'll.
Craig, I'm going to have to remember that one, guys.
That was just back behind that.
Goes back to grade 4. But hey, Preston, you won at Volusia last year at the end of the season out. So how are you looking tonight? I know you were practicing last night. You got a good feeling about tonight?
Yeah, I do. Volusia has always been my track. I don't know why. It just comes kind of naturally to me. I think a lot of people would say that, though. It's just a racy track. And we saw at the end of that last race, there were 2 groups. Stoltz was pounding it up top. But, we had Daniel and blanking on the other gentleman's name. But they were kind of running the bottom. And you could run anywhere. And I think that helps me because you just kind of run where they ain't. But I don't know. I'm not overly confident. I don't feel like I'm going to probably challenge for the win, but I think I could possibly push the top 5 if the track wears the right way.
It'll be interesting to see because, you got to brace yourselves for that division because it's just it's some incredible racing. And the Rebels division has gotten better and better every season. And, I know that because I keep moving down further down the standings every year. But should be a good show, and we got to give a shout out to A&J Custom Creations, Andy Patton. Every division winner is going to get a trophy here, and they are spectacular. And Sean, if you haven't seen it, that he just does an awesome job with these trophies.
How cool is that to get not just a trophy? I mean, everyone has seen trophies, but something that's really customized for this league. Really, really cool to be getting those for your division winners here. This season and all the seasons along. That's really cool. So good shout out to them, A&J Custom Creations. You guys have some great sponsors that make all of this possible. So a big thanks to all of them as well as really, really looking forward to this Rebels division here getting started in just a little bit.
sure it should be good. And going back to Andy, he just ups his game every season. So now he's gone from plaques to like standalone trophies, and they're all like you said, they're personalized with your team name, your own name, the sponsors for your car, and now he's stepped it up. He's got these backlit sprint cars that are just absolutely spectacular to see. So I think a number of leagues are starting to approach him about their trophies because they're very affordable too. So it's great for him.
Well, that's when you know they're really good, because that's when other people start coming to you for their business. That's the best part there. So really cool. Glad to see the drivers be getting that. Daniel Blau, very impressive. Good run here tonight. We know he's got the that wrapped up for the Raiders. Braden Finsel, I'm really looking forward to seeing him in this Rebels division here tonight. Of course, Nicholas Vickery and Stephen Shaw Jr. right up there at the top of the running as well. But this is the division I'm really looking forward to seeing how this A main plays out. 30 laps for the upcoming Rebels. Really looking forward to the next portion of this broadcast, and then getting to sit back and crack a cold one and watching the Renegades coming up later tonight too. Don't forget about that triple header. Big night for you guys here.
Night, but the other thing is we're getting ready for the winter season, and we've been waiting for it for a while, but the dirt modifieds are coming. We have a league formed already. Anybody out there want to join, just get out there to the GForce Dirt Modifieds, and we'll have big blocks and 358s, and they'll be running on Thursday nights, and can't wait for that to get started.
Really curious to see how those things drive. Everyone who is familiar with the big block modifieds knows that the kind of a sprint car chassis underneath, the bodied modified. Of course, we've all raced sprint cars on iRacing. We've done the non-wing sprint car thing, and we've done the late models and modifieds that are available on there. So I'm really curious to see how these big block modifieds are going to drive compared to everything else that's out there available on iRacing right now. And of course, whenever we get more dirt racing, anything on iRacing, whether it be cars or tracks. Also see Cedar Lake Speedways coming along here very soon. So very good news for all of us dirt racing fans from the good folks at iRacing.
Never have enough tracks, that's for sure. And the folks, a lot of us are from Canada, and we're associated with Ashwegan Speedway, and they were supposed to scan it. Hasn't happened yet. Now with the COVID thing, it's not going to happen for a while, but can't wait for that one to come on the service, because it's probably one of the top 10 tracks in North America, and it's for sure the premier dirt track in Canada.
It's a long ways from my house, but that is on my list of tracks I want to see as soon as I can. You see the video highlights, you watch the races online. When the World of Outlaws have been up there, so cool to see that. Really cool racetrack. The one thing I really love I don't know how cool it is in person, but on the videos and when you're watching online, how all the light poles have the lights on them for the white and for the yellow and the green and the reds. I think that is one of the coolest touches I've seen at a racetrack. It's subtle, it's a little thing, but I think it's cool. I'm a dork like that, though.
Yeah, well, the first time I saw those, and Glenn Steyer is the guy that owns the track. I mean, it's in his backyard. He's got those lights all over the roof of his house, so it's pretty cool. You look too, and the lights are going over there too. So it's just an amazing facility. And they've been shut down this season with COVID. They have made so many improvements to the track, so it just gets better and better and better.
Looking forward to everything getting back to normal for you guys up there, for all of us down here as well. We were fortunate here in our part of the country. We had I wouldn't say normal, but a pretty full racing season in this area. But we do know a lot of people did not get to see a lot of racing at their local tracks through 2020. So here's to a better 2021. Let's hope that's right around the corner here. Looks like I see a checkered flag coming out for practice. That means
we're ready to go. I got the word from Ryan that things were ready to go. And speaking of all those the races out in South Dakota, we've enjoyed listening to you call those races. So a big shout out to you, buddy. And I think we're ready to rock and roll. So I'll hand it back to you.
All right. Hey, good luck racing out there, Roger. We'll watch for you towards the front. Let's hope. All right. So
check the back, buddy.
Roger Craig, Preston Cranmer, good to hear from them here as took a little break there between the events. Pitside Podcast, look them up for more information. All right, let's go racing on the racetrack right here, right now. It is the GeForce Racing League Rebels Series for their season championship from virtual Volusia, and things are starting right now with quick time qualifications, 2 laps for each and every driver against the clock to try to lay down fast time. This will set the starting grids for our heat races here tonight. Field Miller, who we just saw in the Raiders series, he jumps up to the quick time 13:5:36 for a best lap. Steven Shaw Jr. now third quick, 13:5:72. Quick time Corey Kusler, 13:5:31, the 126 car going to the top of the charts. Field Miller now second. Nicholas Vickery just shot up to third, 13 triple nickel, 13:555 for his time. Steven Shaw now fourth. Chase Hess in the 767 now sits in the 5th spot, 13:572. Matthew Croakey is 6th. Lance Ripka 7th. Andy Patton is 8th. GJ Boydell right now in 9th, and Nathan Hall completing the top 10. Just as we say that, Kyle Parker in the 013 shoots up to the 10th spot at a 13:623. The top 10 are all separated right now by less than 1/10 of a second on the clock. 9 hundredths to be exact, from 1st to 10th. You want to talk about how close this GeForce Racing League Rebels division is? Yeah, there's a testament for it right there. 10 cars within 1/10 of a second. Nathan Hill is a 10th off the quick time and sits 11th. Trent Verstraeten sits 12th. Luke Gazarek sits 13th. Jack Hitt 14th. Cody Shans finishes right now 15th in the number 32 machine, with just a couple of ticks left on the clock for quick time qualifications for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. Corey Kusler, though, up front on top of the pylon, 13:5:31, the mark to beat, 5 thousandths of a second over Field Miller in position number 2. So close field here thus far in qualifications for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. Of course, tonight's field will be set much like you just saw with the Raiders. We'll have our qualifying heat races. Top finishers in our heat races will advance to the A main. 30 laps in the distance on the A main for them, by the way. 8 laps will be the distance on our heat races. Top 4 transfer directly to the A main as it sits right now. We'll take a look at the starting grid on heat race number 1 as they begin to make their way onto the racetrack, and we'll take a look at the grid as it goes like this. It will be Lance Ripka, the 125 out of Laverne, Minnesota. He'll sit on the pole. To his right will be the 767. That's Chase Hess out of Canada. Nicholas Vickery in the 00 starts inside the second row. Corey Kusler outside of him in car number 126. GJ Boyden in the 014 inside the third row. Outside of him going 6th is Nathan Hall out of Indiana in the 028. Luke Gazarek in the 419. He'll start in position number 7 out of Ohio with Cody Shans in the 8th spot. We just saw him on the podium. He'll start 8th on the grid in the 32. And your 5th row, Barry Goldner in the 36. Inside, outside, it's Roger Craig. Just heard from him. The 747 starts 10th on the field. Heat race number 1, making their way around the racetrack, is brought to us by the Cruise Shop, where they're dedicated to fulfilling your dreams one destination at a time. The Cruise Shop specializes in cruises, all-inclusive resort trips, escorted tours, Disney travel, family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings, and they'd love the opportunity to help you plan your next dream vacation. Reach out to them right now at the Cruise Shop, fw.com, or call their travel consultants at 260-755-6125. That's 260-755-6125. The Cruise Shop of Fort Wayne, Indiana, bringing us heat race number 1. Field just about set, making the way into turn number 3. It's Lance Ripka and Chase Hess side by side on the front row. They bring us off turn number 4. Lance Ripka, a member of our Sodak iRacing series for drivers here in my neck of the country. He'll lead them down into turn number 1. Chase Hess right there to his outside. 3 cars for the lead as Hess got a little bit into Ripka. Got the wheels up in the air. He collects it up as he gets to turn number 3, but lost several positions. It's Nicholas Vickery stealing the race lead in the 00. Ripka now runs in second, or does he? G.J. Boydell to his inside. Boydell in the 14, Ripka in the 125. Bottom side of the speedway in this opening heat race. That's where you want to be, right down there, right against that inside wall. By the way, that inside wall, it'll reach out and grab that left front tire if you're not careful. Here comes Corey Kusler to the inside of Ripka, side by side for third, off of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway, they're still side by side, entering 1. Ripka a little bit higher, Kusler on the bottom. Just behind them, it's Nathan Hall in the 028, running in the 5th spot. In top 4, scheduled to go directly to the big dance. 4 laps to go on this one. Vickery, your leader. Boydell in second, trailing by just under 0.3 of a second to Vickery. Ripka able to get a little bit of separation from himself, back to 4th place, running 126 of Kusler. 3 laps remaining on the cruise shop. Heat race number 1 for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. They'll make their way into turn number 3 off of turn number 4. Nicholas Vickery with 2 laps to go on this opening heat race for the win. Kusler again reeling in Ripka just a little bit, took a peek to his inside in turn number 1. We'll have to see if he mounts another charge from that final transfer spot here on this final lap. It's all Nicholas Vickery. Took over the lead on the opening lap in that 00 machine. He'll lead into turn number 3 for the final time. G.J. Boydell right there behind him. That's how they'll come off turn number 4. That's how they'll cross under the checkered flag. Nicholas Vickery, your winner. G.J. Boydell second. Lance Ripka in third. And Corey Kusler finishes in the 4th spot. Nathan Hall was 5th. Luke Gazaris 6th. Chase Hess 7th. Barry Goldner 8th. Roger Craig 9th. And Cody Shantz finishes in the 10th spot. From heat race number 1, brought to us by the Cruise Shop and the Cruise Shop FW.com. Heat race number 2 heading to the staging area. Another 8-lap affair with the top 4 transferring directly to tonight's A main. Taking a look at the starting grid on this one. Starting on the pole. Out of Pennsylvania, it's Andy Patton in car number 87. And Matthew Croakey outside of him. He drives the number 2 car. Stephen Shaw Jr., the 096, starts inside the 3rd row with Field Miller on his outside in the 677. We go to the 3rd row. That's where Kyle Parker lines up on the inside, the New York driver of the 013, and Trent Verstraeten in the 088 outside of him, Canadian starting in 6th. Row number 4, it's Jack Hitt in the 217 inside, Nathan Aldrich on the outside in the 151, and LLC iRacing's Nathan Schoch from the back in car number 143. He'll line up 9th on the grid. That is the starting lineup for heat race number 2, brought to us by 2W's Plumbing and Contracting of Naples, New York. 2W's Plumbing prides themselves in responsive, excellent quality, and great service. 2W's customers are their main priority, and 2W's will work hard to ensure your complete satisfaction. For your convenience, 2W's offers 24-hour emergency services with no overtime charges, and of course, they're fully insured. Contact Chris Whipple at 2W's Plumbing and Contracting at 585-749-9478 or 2WSPlumbingLLC.com. That's the numeral 2, WSPlumbingLLC.com. Heat race number 2 brought to us by 2W's Plumbing and Contracting of Naples, New York. Good looking field on this one. Andy Patton in the 87, Matthew Croakey side by side on that front row. They will be the ones to bring us to the start of heat race number 2 for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. Pace truck gets ready to drop them off. Field gets ready to drop the right foots down. That's what they do, and we are racing down into turn number 1. Still side by side for the race lead as Andy Patton now slides up, sneaks into that top spot. Matthew Croakey looking to his inside. Side by side for the race lead. Gets the car a little out of shape. That's going to open the door for Field Miller. Miller around the outside looking for the 2nd spot. Door to door with Croakey, if they had doors. And it is now Miller up to the 2nd spot. Croakey will slip back to 3rd. Verstraeten in the 4th position right there, the blue and red car. taking a look at him as well. Andy Patton, though, is your race leader. The 87 will hustle him down the back straightaway with Phil Miller running in second. Croaky Verstraeten right now in the direct transfer spot. Off of turn number 4 they come. They'll flash by the flag stand. 5 laps to go on the 2Ws Plumbing and Contracting Heat race number 2 for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. Still anybody's guess just outside the top 4. If we look back to the 5th spot, Kyle Parker, he's got a lot of company. Stephen Shaw, the 96 on his outside. Nathan Aldrich, the 151 is right there. That is a pack of dogs coming off of turn number 4 just behind Trent Verstraeten, who runs in 4th. Verstraeten may find himself with some company here. We've got inside of 3 laps to go. Race for the lead and some contact. Verstraeten got, or maybe it was Shaw, got into the tail tank of Andy Patton out front. Meanwhile, Patton able to hold onto the car. Croaky capitalizes in the number 2, and now Croaky's got to run at your race leader. Into turn number 3 they go. The 87 of Andy Patton. He's been leading a good chunk of this one, but he's got company with the white flag in the air. Croaky to the inside. Stephen Shaw is behind them in the 3rd spot. Down the back straightaway. Final time. They'll head to turn number 3. Patton will come down, closes the door on Croaky's advance, and he'll come to the checker flag. Your winner in car number 87. It's Andy Patton. The 2 of Matthew Croaky, 2nd. Stephen Shaw, the 096, was 3rd. And Field Miller, 4th spot, and the 677. Nathan Aldrich was 5th. Lucas Show finishes in 6th. Kyle Parker, 7th. Jack Hitt was 8th. And Trent Verstraeten, who had that trouble there on the back straightaway with a couple of laps to go in the 088, he'll be credited with the 9th spot. So that will bring us to our next event, the B main here tonight for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. We'll take a look at the starting lineup on this one. It's Nathan Hall in the 028. He'll line up on the pole position out of Indiana. New York's Nathan Aldrich outside of him in the 151. Luke Gazarek starts inside the 2nd row. The driver out of Ohio in car number 419. And Lucas Schote in the 143 starts outside of him in row number 2. To the 3rd row, it's Chase Hess on the inside, the 767. And on his right, it's Kyle Parker out of New York in the 013. Barry Goldner in the 36. He'll line up inside the 4th row, the 7th starter. And starting outside of row number 4, it's Jack Hitt in the 217. To the 5th row, Roger Craig in the 747 for Kreitz C2C Sim Racing. And Trent Verstraeten starting outside of him in the 088. And lining up 11th on the field will be the 32 of Cody Shans. That's the starting grid for tonight's B main event, which of course is brought to us by eToronto Tickets. eToronto Tickets for Toronto and North America. It's the ticketing choice for major concerts, shows, and sporting events. Remember, eToronto Tickets doesn't charge extra fees, so get your fee-free tickets today from eToronto Tickets. So the B main Constellation Last Chance Showdown, Last Chance Qualifier, whatever you want to call it, it's on the racetrack right now. And it will get set to go 10 laps the distance. Looks like everybody transfers on. So this is for starting positions in that Strickland's GMC A feature event, which is just around the corner. So every position you can gain right here in this one is a better starting position in that upcoming Strickland's GMC A feature. 10 laps, the scheduled distance. So the field will make their way towards the start in turn number 4. Looks like iRacing could upgrade their pace truck a little bit. They could head to Strickland's, get themselves a nice new vehicle. I like that idea. Pace truck drops them off. Here we go. 10 times around, we are green. Nathan Hall and Nathan Aldrich side by side on that front row. Luke Gazarek stuck his nose in there just a little bit. Couldn't make it happen. Again, you want to make sure you stay clean in this B feature event. This is all about starting positions in that upcoming Strickland's GMC A main. eToronto Tickets Last Chance Showdown making their way around the racetrack. Nathan Hall, Nathan Aldrich, Luke Gazarek, in the top 3 spots. Little race going on for that second spot. Luke Gazarick, Nathan Aldrich side by side. Here comes Kyle Parker right behind them. He was able to turn down the hill. Got a big run. He makes it 3 wide, entering turn number 3. Fighter jet formation off of turn number 4. And now they race back to turn number 1. Luke Gazarick up to the second spot. As looks like Nathan Aldrich over the cushion in turn number 1. He's going to lose a couple of positions, slips back to 6th. He'll try to get back up on the horse, trying to chase down Jack Hitt, who runs in the top 5. It's Nathan Hall out front with 6 laps to go. Luke Gazarick in the second spot. Kyle Parker running in third. Into turn number 1 they go. You see the track starting to transition. The groove moving up, and the drivers moving with it. A little bit faster on the top right now. Building the momentum, keeping that right rear tire right there on the cushion. Longest way around the track, but also allows you to keep the most momentum. Speaking of keeping the momentum, though, Luke Gazarick says, well, look at this. The bottom groove, it's still there. Slide job for the race lead. Luke has it, but coming back to his inside is Nathan Hall. Into turn number 1. Slide job return. Side by side behind them. Now 3 cars touch. 4 cars all battle up. Luke Gazarick going to have the short end of the stick on that one. He's going to fall from battling for the race lead back to the 9th position. So that shakes things up. Nathan Hall, no pressure for him now. It is, just shy of a second back to Kyle Parker in the 0-1-3, running in the second spot. Parker says, thank you very much. I'll start more forward in that A main. Nathan Aldrich now in third. And from the back of the field up to the 4th position is Cody Shans in the 32. And Roger Craig into the top 5 in the 747. So a couple of deep starters on this one. Now up to 4th and 5th with the checkered flag in the air on the Toronto Tickets B feature event. And just like that, we have put the qualifying portion of tonight's GeForce Racing League Rebels event into the books. Coming up just over right around 20 minutes from now, you'll want to tune in GeForce Esports on YouTube. GeForce Esports on YouTube. That is the official home of the GeForce iRacing Leagues, and that will be where you will find the broadcast for the Renegades division here tonight. That's coming up here at the top of the hour, the A division for 360 sprint cars. You'll have to change the stream, but it will be worth it. Just go to GeForce Esports on YouTube, and you will find that for the A division coming up with their championship event in just a little bit. So make sure to tune in for that. But stick around. We will, of course, have a look at the Southern Patio Enclosures Victory Lane at the conclusion of this one. Right now, I want to get things set for this A main with the Weatherby Photography look at our division standings. Weatherby Photography, they specialize in iRacing photography. If you want to promote sponsors or just have great quality photos, who doesn't, of their iRacing cars? Contact Weatherby Photography for your next media pack reach. And if you mention the GeForce Racing Leagues, you'll get 20% off your next purchase. You don't have to be a member of the league. Just mention GeForce Racing Leagues for 20% off your next purchase. That's with Weatherby Photography. 10th in the point standings coming into this one, Nathan Aldrich. We've seen him on the track. Barry Goldner currently sits number 9 in the points. GJ Boydell, 8th in the point standings. Corey Kusler comes into this one with a feature win at Lernerville in week 3. He is 7th in the points. Matthew Croakey, 6th in the points. Chase Hess, 5th coming into this A main in the point standings. Kyle Parker right now sits position number 4. Stephen Shaw, 3rd in the points. Nicholas Vickery, 2nd in the point standings. And Braden Finsel has locked up the championship. He's 134 points ahead of Nicholas Vickery coming into this one. And very good reason for that. He's won 9 of 10 events. Remember when I said Corey Kusler won week number 3 at Lernerville? That's the only event the Bald Buckeye, Braden Finsel, hasn't taken with the F1 car through this Rebels season. So a very impressive run here this season for Braden Finsel. Cool story for him, too. If you go to GForceRL.com, you'll find information on this racing league, its drivers, all of the 15 different series that run week in, week out. So learn more, GForceRL.com, for more information on all of the GeForce racing leagues. In fact, if you're a road racer fan, if you're like, yeah, dirt stuff's cool, but I like road racing, Yeah, they've got that too. They've got a little bit of everything. As you heard, they've got the change coming up. They've got the dirt modifieds. They're just coming out on iRacing. Those are coming up. So a lot of cool stuff with the GeForce iRacing leagues. Speaking of cool, again, coming up at the top of the hour, GeForce Esports. You'll find the stream for the Renegades. You'll see Jesse Bandy, Coach Jeff Fitzpatrick, and many more of the stars over there in the Renegades. The A Division, that's coming up here 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock out there on the East Coast, where many of you are tuned in from. If you haven't done so yet, if you're watching on the GeForce Facebook, or you're watching on the GeForce Esports YouTube page, give us a comment. Just a comment where you're watching from. We've talked about it a couple times tonight. I'm just down the road from Houston Speedway, Brandon, South Dakota. If you've heard of Houston Speedway, that's where we are at. Our producer, Ryan Dugan, good dude. He's at the Advantage Racing TV World Headquarters, just over the border. He's just over in northwest Iowa. He's doing all the good stuff with the production tonight here. So big thank you to him and Advantage Racing TV for all that they do around our area and all the iSports and esports that they're starting to do. Look them up, advantageracing.tv. You'll see a lot of great racing action on from them all summer long. And they're also the official host of the Sodak iRacing series, which is Wednesday nights for folks here in the upper Midwest of the United States. So take a look at that. Again, advantageracing.tv is their website for more information on them. About 15 seconds of practice set to go on the racetrack before we get into tonight's Strickland GMC feature event. That A main just around the corner is powered by Strickland's GMC of Brantford, Ontario, Canada. Go where the winners go. See Rick Scott from Strickland's GMC. Strickland's GMC bringing you tonight's feature event for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. And it is next. The field beginning to assemble. Last-minute adjustments going on to these race cars. 30 laps is the distance. And here is your starting lineup. Starting in the 10th row, it is the 088. That's Trent Verstraeten. Moving to row number 9 on the outside, from Canada, the 36 of Barry Goldner. And inside of him from Ohio, it's the 419 of Luke Gazarek. Starting outside row number 8 from LLC iRacing, it's Lucas Schote in the 143. And inside the 8th row, in car number 217, Jack Hitt. Starting on the outside of the 7th row, it's the 767 of Chase Hess. And inside of him from 13th, the 747 of Roger Craig. We go now to row number 6 on the outside. In the 32, it's Cody Shawns. And starting inside the 6th row from New York, it's car number 151, Nathan Aldrich. To the top 10 starters on the outside of row number 5, it's the 013 of Kyle Parker. And starting 9th on the grid from Indiana, the 028 of Nathan Hall. Starting outside row number 4, it is the 677 of Field Miller. And inside of him, going 7th on the grid, the 126 of Corey Kusler. 3rd row on the outside, it's the 096 of Steven Shaw Jr. And inside of that Canadian starter, the driver out of Laverne, Minnesota, in car number 125, they call him Ripper, it's Lance Ripka. Row number 2 on the outside, it's Matthew Froke in car number 2. And starting 3rd on the grid, G.J. Boydell in the 014. Your front row goes like this. On the outside from Pennsylvania, it's the number 87 of Andy Patton. And on the pole, he sits number 2 in the point standings. Driving car number 00, it's Nicholas Vickery. That is the starting lineup for the GeForce Racing League Rebels A-Main, brought to us by Strickland's GMC of Brantford, Ontario, Canada. We are set here at Virtual Volusia 30 times around the speedway. Pace truck drops them off, and we are green and underway. Into turn number 1, they will hustle. Nicholas Vickery, he'll jump out to the initial lead. down into turn number 3. He's got company on the outside with the 87 of Andy Patton. Running third there, G.J. Boydell, Matthew Croakey, Stephen Shaw completing the top 5 with 1 lap in and 29 to go around Virtual Volusia. Nicholas Vickery out front looking very good, but Andy Patton, good drive there into turn number 3, trying to close in on your race leader. Lap number 2 goes in, 28 to go at Volusia. Looking back there, the 5th spot, Stephen Shaw in the 096. Lance Ripka right behind him. Ripka with Corey Kusler taking a look to the outside, and then it is 2 by 2 by 2 as far as the field goes, all the way to the back of the field. Now 3 wide for the 5th spot, and we've got trouble on the front straightaway, going to bring out a caution flag. The 419, Luke Gazares, and the 088, Trent Verstraeten together on the front chute, and the yellow flag flies for the first time in the Strickland's GMC, a feature event from Volusia. See if we can take a look, Malcolm's Mills replay of exactly what happened here on the front straightaway to get a couple of these drivers involved. Just a tight racing off of turn number 4. Looked like Gazaret just ran out of room and then made some contact with Verstraeten. They get together on the front straightaway, spun around. Some damage to both of those cars. Looked like Verstraeten may have been missing a nose wing. Gazarek, his car drives off with nice Cretan Landis, the CJB Motorsports Big Game Tree Stands paint scheme on that car. And he will tag onto the tail of the field. So that will bunch everybody up behind your race leader, Nicholas Vickery, out front in the 00. Andy Patton will restart number 2. Oki in the 3rd spot, getting set for this restart. G.J. Boydell right behind Croakey. Stephen Shaw Jr. in position number 5 when we take the green once again. Lights still on the pace truck. Looks like we will get back to action here off of turn number 4 next time around. I said we'd see the Renegade Series coming up. One of the drivers just tried to call me. Could have gone live on air, I guess. That'd have been kind of fun. Nicholas Vickery out front. Early leader in this one. Good looking race car too. Ready to pick up the pace. Off of it, turn number 4, we are back to racing. Vickery, strong restart for him, able to immediately pull 4/10 over Andy Patton as they race down to 3, now off of turn number 4. Race may be for that 2nd spot. Here comes Matthew Croakey. Croakey to the inside line. He's going to go to the bottom. Slide job up for the 2nd position. Patton now runs 3rd, trying to build that momentum and come back after Croakey in the 3rd turn. Patton goes to the bottom. Croakey up there on the top. Patton a little bit too loose off of turn number 4. Matthew Croakey now solidly in the 2nd spot. Behind them, they're side by side for position. Stephen Shaw in the 96. It is G.J. Boydell and Cody Shantz just behind them. Shantz started deep in that B main in the 32 machine. He had charged, nearly cracked into the top 5. He settles into the 8th spot right now, just behind Kyle Parker in the 014 and Lance Ripka in the 125. Ripka, slide job, trying to come up in front of G.J. Boydell. That is a good race for the 5th spot. 3 wide just behind them. Down the back straightaway they go. Still 3 wide. The 32 of Sean's on the very bottom of the racetrack. G.J. Boydell in that mix as well. 3 wide off of turn number 4 where the track narrows considerably. Back to turn number 1. 3 wide there for a moment. Now they'll sort things out. 2 wide for the position between the 32 of Sean's and G.J. Boydell. Corey Kuzler right behind that. Boy, someone just threw a huge slider off of turn number 4. Let's check back in out front where Nicholas Vickery is your race leader, but it's less than a quarter of a second because Matthew Croakey has found something on the bottom, and we just found a caution flag on the field to bunch everybody up just shy of the halfway point in the Strickland's GMC, a feature. Boy, things were getting close up there between Vickery and Croakey in those front couple of spots. Nicholas Vickery, your race leader in that 00. He's been out front since the start, but he's not the fastest car on the racetrack. Matthew Croakey in the second position has been faster. A 14.75 is his best lap. A 14.93 is Vickery's best lap. Also Andy Patton's best lap. Patton restarting in third. If we look at lap times, the last couple of laps, been pretty even, however, between Vickery and Croakey. Croakey closed in on lap 11 and 12. Vickery was able to gain a 10th on him again on lap number 13. So pretty even running between your top two drivers, the 00 and the 2. Hard charger so far in this one. We'll have to keep a lookout for the 767 of Chase Hess. Hess restarting back in the 6th spot, has advanced 8 positions thus far in this A main. Keep an eye on that 767 white and purple car. He was one of those drivers that was in that 3-wide battle here just a couple of laps ago. We'll have to see what he has in store for the field when we get back to the green. Just over a dozen laps to go. Hess will restart in 6th, right behind Lance Ripka, who is 5th. Stephen Shaw Jr. restarts 4th. And then Andy Patton, Matthew Croakey, and Nicholas Vickery out front. Pace truck back to the infield. We are back to green. 13 laps to go from Virtual Volusia for the GeForce Racing League Rebels. Side by side for position. They're in the top 5. Stephen Shaw coming after Andy Patton. They both go to the very top of the racetrack. Lance Ripka trying to come through the middle after them. Out front, we've seen our race leader, Nicholas Vickery, has changed lines. He and Matthew Croakey both threw a slide job getting into turn number 1. Vickery trying to block the advance of Croakey. Croakey went up the racetrack, gets a tag in the tail, got the car sideways. Stephen Shaw's going to take over the 2nd spot. Croakey now back to 5th, was able to gather it up. Now a little touch there from a couple of cars in the top 5, and we've got trouble on the back straightaway. Oh my, that is some close racing, and the slightest of margins of error can just turn things around that quickly. And we saw that exactly happen on this lap. I'll have to take a look at exactly what happened. Malcolm's Mills replay, based in Ontario, Canada. They have full-service mill riding contractor servicing for forestry and industrial clients. Looking at what happened there on the back straightaway, if I could get a look at it here myself. Vickery out front, able to pull away from them, and then it just got a little bit wild behind them. A great battle for the position, and yeah, it looks like the 87 of Patton, a little contact with the 96 of Shaw. They spun around, come down, collect Ripka. Tough break for him. He was in the top 5, also caused significant damage to the 32 of Cody Shantz, who had advanced out of the Raiders division from the back of the B and was making his way forward in this A main event. So tough break for him as well. So right now the 96 of Stephen Shaw Jr. sits down there pit side trying to get some repairs. Rest of the field making the way around the racetrack. Looks like we'll be ready for a green possibly next time around. So let's set the field. Things just changed significantly up there in the top 5. Nicholas Vickery, he holds on to the race lead in the 00. Andy Patton was 3rd in that last restart. He's 2nd. Matthew Croakey, who had taken a little hit, got the car loose. He had slipped back to the 5th spot. He now restarts 3rd. Chase Hess, plus 10 positions for him from the drop of the green. He is 4th. And Cody Shantz, all sorts of damage on the 32. He restarts 5th. Green flag back in the air. 7 circuits to go for the GeForce Racing League Rebels here at Volusia. Does anybody have anything for Nicholas Vickery, or can he lead this thing from flag to flag? He'll come off turn number 4. 6 laps to go in this feature event. Side by side for 2nd. Croakey able to power away from Andy Patton. Croaky in the number 2 car, runs in position 2, throws a big slider in turn number 3. Entered at the bottom, slid up, grabbed the right rear full of the cushion. Looks like he'll do the same, keeping the car very straight into turn number 1. Get the car loose, though, at the apex of the corner. And Vickery now out to a 4/10 of a second advantage. Big drive, though, for Croaky into the corner. He's able to cut that down, but then big drive off the corner for Vickery. Vickery much better off the corners right now than Croaky to maintain that lead at 4/10 of a second. Look at this back here in third. Cody Sean's in the 32. We saw him go for a win earlier tonight with the Raiders running that bottom groove. 3 laps to go on this one. No nose wing on the number 32 machine, and he may be closing in on your race leaders. Vickery and Croaky 1 and 2. Chase Hess is still in the 4th spot, working the top. Cody Sean's the drive from deep in the field. He's gone +9. He's up there in 3rd with 2 laps to go. Nicholas Vickery leads him into turn number 3. He will soon see the white flag. Matthew Croaky went right up next to the wall through 3 and 4. White flag flies. Half a mile to go here at Volusia for the Rebels. Back straightaway coming up for the final time. Vickery racing down it. Croaky's got to run. Can he get there? Final set of turns off of turn number 4. Nicholas Vickery picks up the win with the Rebels at Volusia. Matthew Croaky finishes 2nd. Cody Sean's from 12th will finish 3rd. Chase Hess from 14th will finish 4th. And Kyle Parker from 10th will finish in 5th. A look at the rest of your unofficial rundown from tonight's Strickland GMC feature event goes like this. Corey Kusler 6th in the 126. The 87 of Andy Patton was 7th. Field Miller 8th in the 677. Jack Hitt 9th in the number 217 car. He advanced 6 positions, by the way. Lance Ripka in the 125, completing the top 10. G.J. Boydell was 11th. Nathan Aldrich 12th. Nathan Hall 13th. Roger Craig 14th. And Barry Goldner completing the top 15. Lucas Schote was 16th. Stephen Shaw Jr. 17th. Luke Gazarick 18th and 19th to Trent Verstraeten. In tonight's A-feature event, the Strickland's GMC feature event, you see the top 3 heading to the podium. The Southern Patio Enclosures Victory Lane presentation coming up next. Southern Patio Enclosures strives to deliver the most durable and economical patio enclosure products nationwide. Southern Patio Enclosures know that each business is unique, which is why their patio enclosures are custom made to suit the design and needs of your restaurant. You can choose between clear vinyl or sunshade materials to complement your enclosure and get the most out of your outdoor space. The products are also very easy to install, or they'll install them for you. That's Southern Patio Enclosures, bringing you tonight's Victory Lane presentation. Cody Sean's finishing in the 3rd spot here tonight in that number 32 machine after advancing out of the Raiders division here tonight. And we'll get a word from Cody here in a couple of moments. Cody, here's that number 32 back on the podium, kind of like deja vu from earlier tonight. This time, you had to do it without the nose wing on the front. Tell us about those last few laps without the nose wing.
So losing the nose wing in a 360 really tightens the car. So trying to dive it in there on the bottom the way I was I was really having to drive it, and I knew I had nothing on the top without a wing, and I had a great spotter in there spotting me, kind of telling me where to go and what I needed to do. And I really got to give all the credit to him, because with him, I think I might have screwed that one up.
How big of a deal is it for someone like you to come out of the Raiders division and get into the Rebels A main on a night and then place on the podium?
That's a hard one to answer. I guess I got to give credit to my team for building some good setups. I mean, there's some pretty stout guys in here, and can't take any of them lightly. And had a bad qualifying, bad heat race, but was able to make some adjustments and put it where I needed to in the feature.
A very good night of racing. Congratulations, 2 podium finishes in the course of 2 hours. Not a bad night.
Definitely not something to complain about.
I like it very much. Thank you, Cody. Congratulations once again. He'll finish 3rd in that 32. Matthew Croaky finishes in the runner-up spot here tonight in that number 2 car. Matthew, let's talk about those closing laps with you as well. It looked like about every time you would try to get a run on Nicholas in front of you, he just he seemed to have the right counterpunch ready.
Yeah, he just had a good run off the corners. I couldn't keep my car straight enough coming off, but overall, I'll take a second place. It's been a pretty tough year with Braden Finsel winning 9 out of 11, I think it is. But I'll take a second place any night.
It looked like there in the closing laps down in turn number 1, you were trying to kind of take that angle into turn 1 where you would run straight and really get that run into the corner. And then was it right there at the apex where it would just turn a little bit too loose and cut your momentum?
Yeah, when I was coming through the little apex, I was kind of hitting the slick a little bit too much and getting on the throttle, kind of lead footing it. But I just need to fix that up for the next race, and hopefully you can do pretty good too.
Before that last restart, it looked like you may have had something for Nicholas, and then there was a big shuffle up, and then you got knocked back a couple spots, then another shuffle right in front of you. How much in the pucker zone were you at that point, just trying to hold on to that car for a good finish?
Oh, I know when I got hit from, I think it was Andy, came down a little bit. I'm not too sure. I have to look at the replay, but when I was sideways, I thought I was getting clobbered and that was going to be my race. But thankfully, everybody was good and alert behind me and kept it out of my car, and I gathered back up.
Another solid, good run for you and the 2 team here tonight. Right there on the cusp of getting into the top 5 in the point standings. We'll have to see how things shake out between you and Chase Hess. But overall, with Braden Finsel winning so many feature events out of the Rebels so far this year, has to feel good to be right there in the top 5 and finish the point series in the runner-up spot.
Yeah, it does. I can't thank my team enough. Phantom Motorsports, Ross, Rob, and Chris. They give me really good setups to run every weekend and week out. And can't thank Power Outdoors for coming along with us and becoming our sponsor.
So good run here tonight. Congratulations on the runner-up spot.
Thank you.
Matthew Croakey finishes in the 2nd spot in that number 2 ride, and that leaves one driver to talk to, and that is tonight's winner down there in victory lane. It's Nicholas Vickery picking up the win. Nick, you got to feel good about this one. 2nd in the point standings, but a very, very good way to end the point series out front with that 00 machine. Congratulations. How are you feeling right now?
Man, they were definitely coming. I was checking my mirror coming off the corner, pretty much every corner, and Croakey was coming pretty fast. I know he got caught up in some stuff. I think the 2nd or 3rd caution prior to the finish, but made that for him. But me and him were talking in the waiting room, man. He was coming. He was running like 0.2 faster before he got caught up in that contact. So.
How closely were you watching? Could you see his line at all? And did you make any adjustments for that if you could?
Yeah, so that last green flag session, I saw kind of coming off the corner, I saw how far away he was. And then as I come onto the straightaway, I could see that he had closed the gap, but I had a lot of momentum. So I had a feeling he was running the slider line, and I was trying to run a similar, slider line. I tried to run it all night, trying to find traction. But, yeah, he was definitely closing me getting in, and then I was pulling on him coming out.
How much is this racetrack a mental game when you know there are so many different grooves on this racetrack? You can run the bottom, you can run that slider line. Sometimes you can stick the middle. Sometimes you're up there banging the right rear on the wall. How much of a mental game is it when you're out front and you don't know what the guys behind you are doing?
Yeah, so, in the heat races, it was definitely interesting because for the heat races, the track was pretty much brand new, so you could really run any line in the heat races. So it was kind of a little hairy in the heat races, but once you got to the feature, it was either, running all the way at the top or running the slider line, I think were the 2 fastest lines. But I'd already made up in my mind that if somebody had gotten by me, I was gonna try to go to the bottom and see what was down there. But luckily they ran out of time, so.
They ran out of time, and you put the car into winner's circle. First one of this point series. You'll sit number 2 in the point standings when all the things are calculated. Good run on the season. A very, very good run tonight. Who do you need to thank to get you here?
So first I want to thank Spartan Racing. Me and a couple guys, we jumped in a practice session before the race, and we were trying different setups and different gears and making changes to the car to try to find some speed. And, we worked together all year. So I definitely want to thank those guys for spotting and just helping out. And second, I actually want to thank Braden Finsel for not showing up tonight and giving somebody else a chance to win a race. You know, I've been chasing it all year, and this is my first one of the year. So shout out to him for not showing up tonight. And then Mirror Image Auto Spa, it's one of my buddies. He always watches the stream, and they support me in this right here. And then, of course, my wife for letting me do this. So that's about it.
Well, Nicholas Vickery, congratulations on the win here tonight. A great way to end the point series with the Rebels. Congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you guys for doing this too.
Absolutely. Very good run here tonight. Nicholas Vickery, your winner. This will be his 4th career win with the GeForce Racing League out of his, that is his 98th career start, 64th finish in the top 10. So congratulations to him, and also congratulations to the driver who will be crowned your Rebels champion, Braden Finsel. Inactive tonight, but so many wins, 9 feature wins for that driver coming into tonight's action. That's going to do it tonight for the Raiders and the Rebels for the GeForce Racing League. Their fall 2020 season is in the books. Coming up here real soon, though, the winter season will start for them. Coming up even sooner. If you're still tuned in right now, make sure to go to YouTube, to the GeForce eSports channel. Coming up right now will be the Renegades stream, the A division of the 360 sprints for the GeForce Racing Leagues. That's coming up here in a matter of moments. So for Ryan Dugan at the world headquarters of Advantage Racing TV, I'm Sean Neisted, thanking you from everyone with the GeForce Racing Leagues for tuning in to this special Fall 2020 Season Championship event for the GeForce Racing Leagues Raiders and Rebels. We'll see you at the racetrack again real soon. Good night, everybody.